And welcome back to episode 9 of Sports Resort, your number one destination for all things sports.
Tara!
Here today, we are with Joe,
Tara!
Eric, Arif,
I'm not as crazy as those two.
and Russell.
Hi guys.
Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, today, just a few days ago, on Selection Sunday, March Madness, the teams that have been put into March Madness are now out. So here, Joe, what do you think about the teams that are in March Madness? Are there any teams you think that should have made it that didn't?
Bro, Pittsburgh is irrelevant. They shouldn't be in. And Nevada, what conference is Nevada even in?
I don't even know.
Kind of fraudulent. I mean, it's cool. It's cool though.
I'm so upset.
It's cool though.
I think we both know at least 2 or 3 teams that should have been over Nevada.
Clemson should have been in.
Rutgers,
Rutgers should have been.
and Oklahoma State.
Yeah, Oklahoma State should have been.
Because according to the selection committee, they were part of Oklahoma State was the first team out, Rutgers was the second, and Clemson was the fourth. I don't get how UNC was the third team out. That doesn't make any sense to me. UNC was not deserving of March at all. It was only because of their preseason number 1 is why they kept.
Yeah,
so
Rutgers
close.
got cheated, right?
Yeah, Rutgers got
Yes,
cheated.
Rutgers got cheated.
Rutgers did not.
They didn't even make it, or their seeding.
No,
was
no,
out?
No, they didn't make it.
didn't
They
make
play
it.
in the NIT.
First seed
Oh,
NIT,
today.
That
easy
doesn't
win.
make any sense though. Didn't they beat Purdue?
Yeah.
Yes,
Purdue's
they have.
a 1 seed, right?
They have more quad 1 wins than Nevada. At quad
And
1, quad
Pitt.
2 wins combined.
Well, Pitt lost to Notre Dame and bad teams like Rutgers did, but even more.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
doesn't
to
make
me.
Joe,
sense.
from what I heard,
gonna
it was
watch
because of
college
the
basketball.
Mawat injury.
Oh God.
The Mawat Mag.
Yeah, the Mawat Mag injury is what
So
kept them out.
So they're thinking they
Canyon.
choose it based on players now, not
I-
record.
I'm pretty
heard
sure.
something about the selection committee decides is now implementing injuries as part of March Madness.
Understood. Okay, Eric. Well, what is your opinion on this?
I would say UCLA is a pretty big favorite. Duke is gonna fumble the bag.
Grand
Purdue
Canyon
is
versus
gonna
Memphis in the
fumble the
finals.
Grand Canyon
Eric,
versus
Eric, I have a question for you. So, as we all know, March Madness is it has a lot of sleeper teams, right?
Yeah.
So, who's your biggest sleeper team to go to the finals
we
or at
already
least
know
the
this,
Elite
Russ.
Eight?
I would say Illinois
Grand.
have a pretty good chance.
What about Northwestern?
No.
Hell no.
Northwestern, no. I would say Illinois.
Eric.
Illinois have
Randall
been
Cobb.
pretty
Eric, you-
have a pretty good record against top 25 teams. And I would say I think they're 9th seed. I'm pretty sure they're 9th seed.
They're 7.
They're 7th
They're
seed?
playing Boise State, who's the 10.
Oh, okay.
Winner of that plays winner of UCLA and
Oh.
UC
UNC
Or-
Asheville.
UNC.
Even if Northwestern win their first round, they're going up against UCLA in the second.
that's sleeper team. That's a sleeper team right there.
No sleeper team.
I'm
I-
telling
That
you.
is not a sleeper team.
Okay.
Listen to me right now. UCLA and Northwestern. That's going to be one of the better games, and I highly doubt it, but I can see Northwestern pulling off the upset.
For sure.
Okay.
definitely.
And then after that, they have to verse Gonzaga.
Okay, yeah, they're losing that. I'm
Yeah.
realistic.
Gonzaga.
They're losing that 100%. But I could see them upsetting UCLA.
Okay, guys.
I guess.
Let's start filling out the bracket, okay?
Okay.
First, we have Alabama. Well, 16
do the
seeds don't even matter.
Okay, yeah.
We'll just fill out all the 1 seeds winning
In the first round.
in the first round. Okay.
What do you think is going to be the closest 1 versus 16 game?
The Howard versus Kansas.
Yeah, I would say that as well.
Smart.
Okay, 2 seed. Arizona versus Princeton. Arizona.
Arizona.
Arizona. Marquette versus Vermont.
Marquette.
Marquette.
Okay. UCLA versus UNC Asheville.
UCLA.
UCLA. Okay. Texas versus Colgate.
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 We
Yeah,
all
that
agree
is
that
definitely a sleeper team.
That's going to be the most likely pick.
Let's move on to the 3 seeds. Okay. Baylor versus UCSB.
Baylor.
Was UCSB the one that beat Virginia that one year?
I think
In
so.
the
Yeah, I think so.
okay,
No,
well,
you're thinking of UMBC.
UMBC.
In 2018,
Uh,
that's the only
Too
team
many,
to.
too many U's in my opinion.
Kansas State versus Montana State. This could be an upset. I
No,
don't know.
Kansas State.
Okay.
K-State's gonna.
I have breaking news.
What are the breaking
Notre
news?
Dame has just won the women's national NCAA championship.
I picked South Carolina.
That hasn't happened.
That
yet.
hasn't happened yet, actually.
Oh wait, actually, this was
What is he
last
talk-
year's.
What is
That
he
is
talking about?
South Carolina won it last year.
Gonzaga versus GCU, Grand Canyon University.
Gonzaga.
Okay.
Russell, that's not happening. I'm sorry, Russell. Grand Canyon
Guys,
is not winning.
Russell left.
Grand
us.
Canyon will
Okay.
win everything.
Xavier versus
Grand Canyon
Penn
versus
State?
Northwestern.
Xavier versus Kent State.
Xavier. Oh no, actually, wait. Xavier
Guys,
versus
you gotta
who?
remember, there 14 seeds upset sometimes. Okay.
Oh, versus Kennesaw State. No. No.
Okay, Xavier, okay. Let's go with the 4 seeds now. Virginia
Virginia.
versus Furman, Virginia.
Virginia.
Tennessee versus Raging Cajuns.
This
Tennessee.
Is a, this could be an upset, but I do think
No, no,
Tennessee.
no.
I do
Tennessee
think
It's gonna be
Tennessee
Tennessee.
will win.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, my fault.
UConn versus Iona. This could be an upset.
No,
I'm gonna go with UConn. Still.
I'm picking UConn still.
Okay. Indiana,
bad.
Kent State.
Indiana.
That could be an
Kent
upset.
State. Kent
We're
State.
picking Kent State here.
Indiana. I think I'm picking Indiana. Just look at their record. Just the record speaks for themselves.
There's got to be some.
They're
upsets.
5-2
There's
versus
gotta be
top
I'm telling you,
25.
Colgate is the major upset.
We're talking about Kent State right now.
Yeah, no, but
okay.
Colgate is that upset. Like, I'm
Look at
telling
the
you,
percentage
that's-
of every
that's gonna
4
be
seed
the-
winning. What is the percentage of every 4 seed winning their first game?
70 something.
Exactly. We're gonna need to pick an upset, which is Kent
We-
State.
Kent
Oh,
State
yeah, Kent
is the
State,
most
I can see that
likely.
upset. I can
Because
see it happening.
Indiana,
All right.
they're either
I think
really
it's
good-
much more. I think it's much more likely that maybe Pittsburgh could win against Iowa State than.
All right. Wait. We're going the 5 seeds.
That's the 6 and the 11.
The
Yeah,
U
but it's much more.
versus Drake.
Drake. I have Drake.
Drake. Okay, we'll pick Drake.
I have Drake there. I think that Miami does not do the best in March Madness, and I haven't seen any changes from their team of previous years to this year. So I think they're just going to be their same March Madness self. Even if they win this one, I don't see them getting to the Sweet 16.
Okay. Let's go with St. Mary versus VCU.
St. Mary's.
St. Mary. Okay. Next one. Duke versus Oral Roberts.
Duke, unfortunately.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
San Diego State versus Charleston.
Charleston.
Charleston with the upset.
Charleston, I think, is the most likely 12 seed to make it to the Sweet 16.
I have Charleston in my actual bracket. Where did they go? I have them in round 32. Okay.
I have them in the Sweet 16 losing to
Creighton?
Alabama.
Creighton versus NC State.
Creighton.
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 Actually,
Yeah,
versus
Creighton.
NC State?
You-
Yeah, Creighton.
Kentucky versus Providence. Now, it could be Providence, honestly. It could be
I don't
Providence.
think it's going to happen. I think Kentucky has gotten,
Kentucky
not even though they're
is
not
getting better
fully on
and-
fire, I think they're doing really well.
Okay.
So I think Kentucky.
For the TCU versus ASU or Nevada game, if ASU wins, I think ASU wins against TCU. But if Nevada wins, I don't know. I think we should go with the 11th seed here.
I see. Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Arizona State wins, they will beat TCU. But
Mm-hmm.
if Nevada wins somehow, then TCU will beat Nevada.
All right, Iowa State versus Mississippi or Pitt. If Pitt wins, they are getting demolished. If Mississippi State, if Mississippi State wins, it can give Iowa State a run for money. I think we should pick Iowa State here.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
we
think
should
this
go
could
out.
be
I
another
think
upset.
Mississippi State can
Another
beat
upset.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
Yes, but
If it's Pittsburgh, yeah, Pittsburgh's not going through. Iowa will win, but Mississippi could be
all right,
a
we'll
little
go
bit
with the
closer.
11th seed. Okay. 7 versus 10. Texas A&M versus PSU.
I think Texas A&M
Texas
wins
Texas A&M
that.
because PSU is not deserving, of course. As
Even
always.
though they had a magnificent run in the Big Ten tournament,
They
how long do you
that's
think
not
that
looked
matchup's gonna
at because
last?
Rutgers didn't get in, so that isn't looked at, I guess. Northwestern versus Boise State. Boise State.
I would say Northwestern here, honestly.
I don't know, Arav.
But then they're gonna get crushed by UCLA.
Yes,
Fine.
I do think Northwestern does win that
MSU
one.
versus USC.
USC and Michigan State is one of the least deserving March Madness teams. I don't think they deserve it. USC will absolutely demolish Michigan State.
How is MSU a 7 seed? What is this?
I don't understand how it's because the Big Ten was just an entire
Who invited?
cluster of
Who
people
invited,
in the
bro?
middle. So they just
They just picked the
based
least
off of
popular team.
standings.
No,
and
they picked it all based popularity
wait,
contest.
I wonder if the selection committee included Rutgers quote unquote lost to Ohio State as part of their decision?
it
Because
doesn't
if so, then they would have a better Big Ten record than
I know.
Michigan.
They would have like a double bye, probably maybe.
Not a double bye, but they still would have had enough higher of a seeding
To
to where
get
they
one
would
bye?
make it to March.
Okay. Mizzou versus Utah. I think Utah State.
I think Missouri.
Okay. What do you think?
Eric, what's your choice? Deciding factor.
I would say Utah. This
Okay.
could be an
We're
upset.
gonna go Utah. Okay, we got everything there. Okay. Now the 8 and 9, the hardest games to pick. West Virginia versus Maryland. I think
Virginia.
West Virginia will
West
win
Virginia.
West Virginia is a much better team.
FAU versus Memphis. I think Memphis demolishes them. I think Memphis is a very, very sleeper team.
Memphis can make it to the Final
Four,
Four.
honestly.
If
Yeah.
they're on their A game, which they did, they won the American Championship over Houston, who is a 1 seed now.
Exactly. It beat them by 10.
They beat them by 10.
All right.
Memphis is a scary team.
Arkansas versus Illinois.
I think this is actually
Illinois.
the hardest one to predict.
I think Illinois wins. I think
Illinois.
Hi, guys.
Illinois.
So,
Illinois.
let's go with the next one. Iowa versus Auburn.
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 I have
okay.
Auburn here.
What do
I
you
think-
think?
Let's look at the record. I mean, Iowa has a better record against top 25 teams, but
It's March.
It's
It's March.
but still.
I
you
think
gotta look at the
Auburn will
past.
win, too.
I think the SEC national. What conference do you think was better, the Big Ten or SEC this year for basketball?
SEC.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm,
The
I
Big
don't
Ten
know,
was
I
a
don't
lot of
know.
mid. Except Rutgers are the best team ever. But Alabama versus West Virginia.
Alabama.
Alabama.
I'm sorry.
Charleston versus Virginia. Virginia.
I have Charleston.
Virginia.
Charleston. I think Charleston can make it to the Sweet 16 by
I've-
far. They're 12 with the 12 seed versus 5 seed logic, and plus the fact that Charleston is a really good team. But the highest they can go, like at this point, is like the 12 for for a team that won the championship. I think Charleston is a great pick to go to the Sweet 16.
Well, in my actual bracket, I have Virginia versus UCLA. In
What
the
do you have,
in the
Eric?
National championship.
I have Alabama against Virginia in the Sweet 16.
Finish in 3 minutes, guys.
Okay. Okay.
Creighton.
Creighton versus Baylor. Creighton with the upset.
Yeah, Creighton.
Really? I have Baylor, but okay.
Arizona versus Utah. Arizona.
Arizona.
Memphis versus Purdue. Memphis.
Memphis.
Duke versus Tennessee. Duke.
Duke.
Kentucky versus K-State.
K-State.
K-State. Marquette versus USC.
Marquette. I don't.
Marquette.
USC
Marquette,
will
yeah.
get demolished.
Northwestern UCLA. Gonzaga. St. Mary versus UConn.
St. Mary.
St. Mary.
I think St.
Upset.
Mary's pull off the upset.
Kansas versus Illinois. Kansas.
Kansas.
Texas A&M versus Colgate.
You wanna go
Colgate.
Colgate. Okay. Xavier versus
Mississippi or Pittsburgh.
Xavier. Drake versus Kent State. Drake.
Kent State.
Kent
I have
State.
Kent State.
We're gonna go with Drake. Majority rules.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Majority.
All right. Houston versus
Auburn.
Auburn. I think Houston gets upset here by Auburn.
By how
Auburn
much?
is not that
By-
good of a team.
A buzzer beater.
A buzzer beater.
A butter
A
beater.
buzzer beater.
What do you think, Eric?
Anything can happen, you know.
We'll go with
We'll
Auburn.
see.
We need some upsets
Okay,
here.
fine.
Bama versus UVA.
Bama.
Virginia. Virginia. I'm telling you.
There's no shot.
Virginia, bro. I'm telling you, Virginia.
Creighton, Arizona. I'm gonna go with Creighton.
Yeah, I think Creighton could go far, honestly.
Over Arizona? Really?
Yes, over Arizona.
The team that won the Big 12. Okay.
They're gonna win by
The Pac-12.
Pac-12.
Okay.
my bad.
And Memphis versus Duke.
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 Memphis. I would say.
2v1, Eric. We're sorry.
K-State versus Marquette.
K-State.
K-State.
K-State,
I think that's
K-State.
an upset.
Gonzaga versus UCLA.
UCLA.
I have Gonzaga. Dad.
I have UCLA.
Oh my god. I have Gonzaga as my national
Kansas
champion.
versus St. Mary.
Kansas.
Kansas.
Kansas, okay.
Xavier, Colgate.
Colgate.
Colgate's Cinderella.
I think it
think
ends here. I think Colgate ends here.
Colgate
Xavier wins.
Cinderella ends at the Elite Eight. It does not
Auburn
end
and
here.
Drake. I think Drake is one of those Cinderella teams. This
Auburn
year.
versus Drake.
Yes.
I think Drake could do it.
I think
Drake, yeah.
I
I
think
can
Drake
see
could do
Drake. If it's those two
All right,
teams.
UVA
yes.
versus Creighton.
Football trades later. Creighton.
Against who?
UVA.
Virginia.
Creighton.
Okay, Creighton.
It's close, but
Duke, Kansas. I think this.
Duke.
Duke.
I think Duke fumbles back.
Duke.
Honestly,
no. Duke. This,
maybe.
No.
Honestly, I'm going with
Duke,
K-State.
Joe.
I think Duke fumbles the bag
Joe.
here.
Fumbles the
bag.
I think
in
Duke
the
fumbled the
NBA.
bag.
Dude, Duke does not fumble the bag until the finale when they versus
UCLA
Gonzaga.
versus Kansas. UCLA versus Kansas. UCLA.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Drake versus Xavier.
This is where Drake ends. That's where
Xavier.
we stop.
Xavier. So you're telling me Xavier's in the Final Four?
Yes, bro. Well,
No.
we picked Colgate to go all
I
that
said
way.
Colgate to the Elite Eight, not to the Final Four.
So you think?
I think in my bracket, I have Colgate upsetting Texas.
Well, Xavier's a 3 seed. They're a good team in the country.
I
I mean, things can happen, man.
have Colgate beating Texas, then Texas A&M, then Xavier, and then losing against Houston.
All right, Final Four: Creighton versus Kansas.
Kansas. I'm
Kansas.
sorry.
UCLA beats Xavier, and UCLA wins
Bro, why does UCLA win, dude?
because
By how
UCLA
much,
is
though?
so
How
good
much, though?
by 175.
Oh
Just
my
kidding.
god.
75 to.
God, the UCLA bias is real. There's
750
Dude.
to 420.
Dude, UCLA is gonna lose.
Sean,
Against
Sean, this is a
Gonzaga.
very non-serious bracket. We were just doing this for fun.
UCLA is gonna lose
My
to
actual bracket is actually pretty good, honestly.
Bro, UCLA is gonna lose to Gonzaga in the Sweet 16.
There's no way.
It's
UCLA.
gonna happen. Gonzaga.
They're getting their
is winning
revenge.
The national championship.
They're getting a revenge.
No,
They are. They literally are.
Here, I have for my actual bracket, Alabama versus UCLA. That UCLA winning 53 to 51.
For my actual bracket, I'll just go to Sweet 16. I have Virginia beating Alabama, Creighton beating Arizona, Memphis beating Tennessee, Marquette beating Montana State, Houston beating Indiana, Xavier beating Colgate, Kansas beating VCU, and UCLA beating Gonzaga.
What do you think about a Midwest Elite Eight, Houston, Texas?
I have Houston Xavier from Midwest,
I have
and I have Houston winning that. I
Colgate.
have Houston winning that.
I have Houston winning that.
I
as
have
well.
I have UCLA beating Kansas, Memphis beating Marquette, and Virginia beating Creighton. Virginia beats Memphis, UCLA beats Houston, and UCLA wins.
All right. So my Sweet 16 is Alabama beats Charleston, Arizona beats Baylor, Duke beats Memphis, K-State beats Marquette, Houston beats Kent State, Colgate beats Xavier, Kansas beats UConn, Gonzaga beats UCLA. In my Elite Eight, I have Arizona upsetting Alabama, Duke upsetting Kansas State. I don't think that's really an upset, but whatever. Duke got underseeded by a long shot. They should not be a 5. Houston ends Colgate's Cinderella run. Gonzaga upsets Kansas. Then Duke beats Arizona. Gonzaga beats Houston. And in the finale, I have Gonzaga beating Duke 71 to 68.
Here's my Sweet 16. I have Alabama beating San Diego,
Okay.
Guys, we gotta wrap it up.
Arizona beating Baylor, Duke beating Memphis, Marquette beating Kansas, Houston beating Indiana, Texas beating Xavier, Kansas beating UConn, and UCLA beating Gonzaga.
Dude, that's
Okay.
so boring.
That's not boring. That's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
All right, everyone. Thank you for watching today. Goodbye.
Tomorrow.